Kia ora, guys.
Kia ora.
Yeah.
Hey, so my name's Ben Bristow. I've got Jet right next to me and Katie on the other side. We're just going to discuss our journey from Mātai interns to Mātai students. Sorry, I forgot to...
Kia ora, I'm Katie. I am Gizzy born and bred. As you can see, started off my academic journey a few years ago, just down the road at Te Whārau. Moved across the field to Ilminster, became a bit of a bratty teenager, didn't let mum take any photos of me, so there's a wee gap in the timeline up there, but I spent those years at Girls High. After finishing school here, I moved down to Wellington and did a degree in psychology, then a master's in neuroscience. After this, last summer, I came back and did the Mātai Internship and then managed to stay on this year and start working towards a PhD.
Kia ora, I'm Jet. I'm also born and raised in Gisborne, went to Campion College. Before that was at Gisborne Intermediate. Before that Makoti, and if we even take that a step further, I was at Montessori Preschool. So after that, I went down to Otago, did a bachelor's degree, 3 years in Dunedin, here with Ben. That was in neuroscience and minoring in psychology. Did my honours year there as well, and then was pretty unsure of where I'd end up. Luckily, through a mate, we heard of the Mātai program, and then came back for an internship and now doing my PhD here.
So I'm also Gizzy born and bred. I had a pretty standard schooling experience. I went from Central School into Gisborne and then to Gizzy Boys High School. I left school in 2018 and went to Otago 2019. Same as Jet, I did first year science into a neuroscience degree with a psychology minor. And yeah, me and Jet followed a very similar path, both interns for 2 years and continue our study into a PhD.
When we all left Gisborne and went off and studied science, we all kind of thought that we'd have to end up in a big city or overseas somewhere in order to get a job relevant to our degree. I'd always wanted to move back, but was sort of like, well, I'll do it when I retire because there's just not a lot here for me otherwise. But thanks to Sam and Lee for their vision and so many others' support and passion for this vision, you know, we've got to move home 40 years earlier than expected. And just because, you know, Mātai's based in little old Gizzy doesn't mean what we're up to is any less flash than what's going on in the big cities. We have one of the best MRIs in the country. Lee often refers to it as the Lamborghini of MRIs. And as you will have heard over the past couple of days, we're really getting to work on such cutting-edge research with just world-renowned researchers, which is so cool to be able to do based here. But beyond that, you know, beyond the cool technology and the fancy researchers, we're getting to work on projects that have a meaningful impact on our community, on our friends, on our whānau, and that's just something that's so incredibly special to all of us.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Mātai Student Internship. For those of you who don't know, it's a 10-week summer experience for university students in science. This isn't limited to just people in health science. I mean, we've had people from data science, sports science, physio, engineering. It's really just a hotspot for people who are studying something to do with science to come back for the summer, come back to Gisborne, pursue an area of their interest. When I first arrived, I thought I'd be a little coffee lackey, maybe doing some printing for the bosses now and then. Soon realised that I would be playing a pivotal role in a research project of my choice, which was pretty awesome. Most other internships don't allow for that sort of agency. It's an expanding program. Ben and I were in the internship program back in 2021 and then again in 2022. Back then, in 21, there was 8 of us, a very close-knit group. And then last year there was over 15. This year there's about 22 or 23 interns, which is incredible to see, and this all wouldn't have been possible without the funders that make this. Without these guys, we wouldn't be able to bring these people back here united with a passion for working in our hometown of Gizzy. So yeah, huge thank you to them for making this possible.
So an important aspect that the Mātai Summer Internship tries to get across is, so alongside the academic engagement, an important aspect is the community engagement. You guys have all heard through all the other speakers that this Mātai wants to do research for the community and bring the community along our research journey. And so this summer internship program tries to provide a holistic experience where students not only get to work on a project that they're very interested in, but they can enrich themselves through community and personal development activities. So you might see our interns on Thursdays down at the local hospital, singing waiata, or they might be serving up smiles and listening to purako at Manawatu, our local cafe in Elgin. Also developing personal skills through a leadership program run by Stu. Also we do Mataranga Māori sessions where students can strengthen and better understand, get a deep understanding about the community that we serve. Moreover, we have this immersive program allows students to delve into what they're interested in, and also provides a program where they can develop themselves better.
So these are just a few of our kind of personal key takeaways from the internship experience. The importance of community engagement was definitely really emphasised, but also the importance of teamwork and collaboration within Mātai and amongst ourselves. So like as interns, we all had our own project, but we still knew what everyone else was up to and would all help each other out in any way we could. You know, if you were stuck on something, pop a question in the group chat, and a few minutes later you've got so many responses of everyone, you know, giving you help and advice, which was really cool. My personal favourite part of the internship is that it provides students an opportunity to come home and work in a field of interest rather than out in a field of corn. All through my years of uni, I was back here out in the fields doing maize detasseling because I never wanted to miss a Gizzy summer, but there was just really nothing relevant to my degree to do here. So this internship, you know, allows students to come home, build valuable connections, skills, and a bit of cash to go back to uni with. It was also a great introduction to the topic of MRI. Like, this is a wild, wild piece of technology, and coming into the internship with not really many skills or knowledge about it was quite stressful. But big shout out to all the staff here who were just so kind and so patient with us all as we learnt about this, and they really taught it all to us in a fun and accessible way.
One of the projects was to make an exciting creative piece. This was to explain how MRI works for a group of people of all ages. So this is a little Lego stop motion video. You very briefly saw it, but it will come back up soon. And this is detailing how MRI works, and we hope you enjoy.
Sorry, Bree.
Yeah, she's en route to go play it.
Hey, Peter, have you ever heard of an MRI machine before?
No, what is it? An MRI stands for magnetic resonance imaging. It's a special kind of camera that doctors use to take pictures of the inside of your body.
Oh, like X-rays?
Yeah, similar to X-rays, but it uses a giant magnet.
That's right. The magnets in the MRI machine make the atoms in your body move in a certain way. Do you know what atoms are? Yeah, they're the tiny things that make up everything, right?
Exactly. And inside every atom, there are even smaller things called protons.
An MRI machine uses powerful magnets to move these protons, and when the protons move, they give off invisible magic waves that are detected by the MRI machine and turned into pictures of the inside of your body. That's so cool. Can I see the pictures?
Sure, the pictures show us things like bones and muscles, but they're especially good at showing us the inside of your brain.
Exactly. The doctors can use these pictures to check if everything is okay or if they need to do something to help you feel better. And at Mātai, we use an MRI all the time for research. Can anyone use the MRI machine?
Not just anyone, kiddo. The doctors need to make sure it's safe for you to have an MRI. Some people can't have an MRI because of the metal parts in your body. This also means you can't wear metal like belts and necklaces.
Righto, but for most people, it's a safe and painless way to take pictures of the inside of the body and help keep us healthy. Wow, that is so cool. I can't wait to have an MRI.
Thank you. That was done by myself and Ben. I hope you enjoyed my terrible English accent, and then also Hayley, who was an intern the past 2 years. In the same room together, we're on very different projects, which is pretty cool in its own way.
So I am working on a piece of the concussion research that's going on at Mātai. So what we know about concussion is that people can recover at really different rates after the injury. Someone might be all good 3 days, 1 week afterwards, while someone might still be struggling months down the track. We also know that people can experience a really wide range of symptoms after a concussion. So someone might have headaches and dizziness, whereas someone else might be struggling with their memory or concentration, for example. But we don't really understand why these outcomes are so varied and how to tell who's at risk of a more severe outcome. So what we're aiming to do is assess people kind of as soon as we can after an injury, so within the first week or so, and follow up with them 1 month, 3 months, 6 months down the track. And we're hoping to be able to look at the MRI images and see how the brain is changing after this injury and whether these changes relate to symptoms people are feeling and how they're recovering. Hopefully, by understanding the relationship between these two things, we will be able to identify those who are going to be more at risk of suffering long-term or more severe symptoms and improve interventions and treatment for them earlier in the stages following the injury.
So I'm working on the Brain Pressure Project, also known as the Hole in the Head project among the researchers there. Overall, we're doing a non-invasive pressure assessment using amplified MRI technology. So that sounds like an absolute handful, which it is, but I'll break that down for you now. So basically, we're trying to use MRI to measure the pressure inside of the brain so that we're not having to do a lumbar puncture needle in the back of the spine like we typically have to do to assess pressure now. So AMRI, for those of you who might be unaware, is just amplifying the movement that's already happening in your brain through video. So we grab a video of your brain across time, across a heartbeat actually, and then we just amplify the movement so we can really see those nuanced movements that's happening, and we find that there is a different movement pattern in those who have high pressure in the brain. Particularly, these patients are coming in for an MRI anyway, so this is just an additional 1.5 to 2 minute sequence that we're putting on top of their regular MRI scan, and then hopefully in the future, instead of having to have an MRI and then a lumbar puncture, it might just be an MRI. So we're going to compare AMRI against standard brain pressure measurement techniques such as the lumbar puncture, assess the impact on patient management and treatment outcomes, and then we might utilize some AI down the road to outline steps for clinical adoption and technological refinement.
So I'm a PhD student on our methamphetamine study. We know that methamphetamine is a big problem within Tairāwhiti and within New Zealand. For those who are addicted, they face cycles of poverty, hardship, and crime, which can extend into the tamariki and the surrounding whānau and community. And what we know is that the brain gets damaged through methamphetamine use, but what we are trying to see is how does the brain change as someone stops using methamphetamine. To look at this recovery process, we are using a multitude of different sequences, but for my PhD, I will just be focusing on 4 sequences. fMRI, which is the activity within the brain, targeted MRI, which Paul spoke on earlier, myelin, measures the myelin that wraps around neurons, and spectroscopy, which is complicated. A massive aspect of our study is the community engagement. And I'd like to extend a big thank you to Tutanaimu, who sadly passed away. Without his support, we wouldn't have had the success that we've had. We are getting world-class data and a world-first retention rate. And Tuta has truly pioneered a new way of approaching addiction research. And on that note, we would like, first of all, I would like to thank Fred Lewis Foundation for funding the methamphetamine study, and also if I didn't get the Auckland Uni scholarship, Fred Lewis Foundation would have been there to support me in my journey. And to thank you all for listening to us talk, and thanks again to the funders who have made this all possible. What we're going to do now is leave you guys with a video that the interns last year created. It's about 5 minutes. I hope you guys enjoy it.
make it look cool, 'cause we're interns. We will send you to learn all about the safe place to go. And taught you about how we do it.